because today we have a case study like every time and with a certain topic. So today I prepared the topic of conflict resolution in communities and for communities, and with the two communities case studies of ZEGG community and Norman Creek. So can you see my screen? Good. Okay, and with the view on the watch. Okay, so today, May 21st, here, as I said, conflict resolution methods. So, and the ZEGG Forum is a method that was developed in the ZEGG community. And I would like to give you an overview about the community and the context, how this method arrived. So this will be about half an hour, and then you have time for breakouts and share your insights from this or from your project where you are right now. And afterwards we come together again and can share highlights, or you can post your questions. And yeah, I think you can also post your questions during my talk already. And yeah, we will weave this into somehow. Yeah, so just a few words here, this slide about myself. So I have researched communities for almost 2 decades and also lived in several communities in the German-speaking area and visited a lots of community and researched them. So that's my background, about 25 years of community life and research and a lot of publications if you want to check this out on my website. And yeah, and now I live in this tiny house down here. It's raining now, but I hope it works. It's not too loud. And yeah, so that's where I am in the Austrian Alps. So then we just jump into our cases for today. This is the ZEGG community. And it's located in Germany, and I know it. I have been there for many years, again and again, here and there for different occasions. And ZEGG is actually an abbreviation, and it's called the Center for Experimental Creation of Society. Wow, that sounds a bit, well, scientific or whatever. But the people, they started in the 80s already. So it's quite a long project with pre-projects. And the group, they came together with the intention to really learn and develop intimate relationships that are really trustful and yeah, people can rely on and like really committed also. And this was a process, yeah, the group grew and they came together and they had a place in southern Germany in Black Forest. And then they noticed, okay, they need a larger place and they want to host guests and found a seminar center. So after the wall came down, this is interesting in Germany, that after, yeah, that was in 1989. And after this, a lot of communities, like people started in Western Germany, they went to Eastern Germany because there the land was very cheap after the wall came down, after the communists had disappeared. And so there was really a lot of chances and a lot of new community popped up in this time. And also ZEGG, they got a former communist education ground there. They could buy this with the company they have founded. And today, 100 people live there, including children. Well, this is already, yeah, more than 30 years now. And yeah, they have the seminar center, which is also their main source of income with about 4,000 guests per year. And around in this area, this is a bit out of Berlin, 2-3 hours from Berlin. Dozens of more communities, like little satellites, have founded there in the area, and also many, yeah, freelance people have come there and connected to the community. So that's a really vibrant area there. And yeah, but they had also difficult times because they were the target of media and the Catholic and Protestant church. You know, if you do something new, especially also in terms of culture and relationship, then, well, the churches are a bit not so trustful about it. And yeah, so they had to really cope with yeah, different forms of accusation, sexual abuse, cult, sect, and all these things. And yeah, but still they have survived and they have proven that they are serious and not in this direction. So, and that's good to see. Let me see the next slide. Does it work? Here. So here you see a bit of the location. It's surrounded by forest, where there is also a city. They're not out of nowhere, so they have also to deal with neighbors. And yeah, it's owned by the GmbH, which is a company, but it's carried by an association, so it's something co-owned and non-profit in a certain way. And yeah, they have set up also low energy wood heating, wastewater treatment with plants, well-insulated buildings. So they have also a very ecological approach, and they also consider to be an eco-village, so also in the eco-village network. And so the topics they offer in their seminars is about community, communication, love, partnership, sexuality, ecology, permaculture. Yeah, and they quite a well-visited place. Here you see the very natural area with a large tent and a pond and a lot of the events also happening outside in summer. But in winter it's also there. Here with the buildings and the seminar center. Here is the orange one for winter. Yeah, some impressions. Yeah, and the founders of ZEGG community, Dieter Doom and Sabine Lichtenfels, they have then in 1995 already, they have created the community Tamera in Portugal. This is maybe a very famous also in the English-speaking area, where they also host seminars all around their peace work they do also in Israel and Palestine right now. They offer seminars and education in this area. And yeah, so they're quite vibrant place too. So, and this community, ZEGG and also Tamera, it's really quite based on the method of the forum, the ZEGG Forum. Yeah, because it was developed with the community glue, with the growing together of the members of the community from the 80s on already. And this method is there to support community life. Yeah. And so a lot of other communities around the world are using this method too right now. Also, Eco-Village Siebenlinden, where myself have lived for a long time, we have also used this method on a regular basis. And so I'm quite familiar with it, but I'm not a facilitator. I will come to this later. I have participated in many forum sessions. So yeah, it's really a method for inviting co-production and to build trust in the community, yeah, connectedness, and also a trust that is based on honest sharing what yourself, what kind of issues also you have, also problematic issues. So because this creates intimacy if the community members are really honest about also their problems. Yeah, and the forum creates a special atmosphere that also these delicate topics can be shared, yeah, because there is trust and openness between people. And yeah, it's about revealing authenticity and truth within us. So yeah, here is a nice saying from here, Dolores Richter, who has developed this method quite a a bit. So it's not just from one person, but she is a very strong person who has brought this forward. And Achim Ecker, who also is a trainer in this, they said Forum provides a stage for thoughts and feelings that are ever present in daily life, but which lie veiled or suppressed out of fear or rejection or judgment. And sometimes even oneself is not aware of these issues. So it's a vehicle designed to bring into group consciousness what has been until now only present in the individual consciousness, or even not so much there sometimes. Yeah. And it can be practiced with up to 50 participants. And it's also inviting co-production. It's not just about one person is sharing and the others just listen, but then there is happening a kind of dialogue also. So Forum provides a stage for thoughts and feelings that are ever, I'm sorry, here I was, that were ever present. I had this already, right? Yeah, so here it's to reveal authentic truth in us. And well, I think I had most of this already, but here is another slide I didn't present yet. So because the
Iris,
process.
sorry, we lost your screen share.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have it.
Oh, I don't.
Okay, I'll start again. So, let's see how it goes. So here, can you see it?
Yep, that's good.
Okay. So to tell you a bit about the process, how a ZEGG forum runs. Yeah. So the process can take 1 or several hours. It depends on how many people can present themselves. So, and the group gathers in a circle, like you can see here on the picture. Yeah, and depends on how many people. It can be just a few, like just 5 or so, or till up to 50. Yeah. And then the facilitators opens the rooms. It's normally 2 facilitators, and they invite people, and maybe there is a little meditation to really come down and to invite people to feel in their hearts and to be open to hear another person. And like this supports always to open this room, because the room is held by the entire group, and especially, of course, by the facilitators. So, and if the room is then introduced and open, then a person can go in the middle. And it's really, I mean, sometimes this can be also arranged beforehand, that a person said, okay, today I really have something important I want to share and I want to go in the middle. Or it can be spontaneous, that just a person who feels like, wow, now I'm ready, I just go and share. And then this person goes in the middle and shares what is there right now, or an issue that this person wants to share verbally, emotionally, with body language, emotion, whatever. And the circle is just there to really listen and to give their fully loving awareness and presence to this person. So the circle is respected as an entirely protected space. That is clear. Also, what is said there stays in the circle. It will not be shared outside afterwards or so. And that whoever takes their space, it's a center, the only to be shown love, respect, emotional support, while confronting the issue they introduce to the group. So that's the ideal. And then this person can talk for a few minutes or express themselves for a few minutes. And sometimes the facilitators can say, okay, go a bit more into this emotion. What is really there? just feel a bit more into this, or you have said this. What do you mean by this? But only the facilitators can do this at this time. And then when it's kind of round, or the person has calmed down a bit, then the facilitators say, okay, fine, now you sit down. And then other persons can go in the middle to give a mirror. And a mirror means that the other person always also speaks from themselves. They say, okay, what I heard from this person raised this and that emotion in me, and this and that ideas also. So there's no judgment like you have said or you, but there is always talking from themselves also. Yeah, but always the person is always asked, do you want to hear mirrors? And only if the person agrees, then the mirrors go in the middle. So there is, this is a very strict structure in a way. And then what I experienced in most of the forum sessions I witnessed, it was really a lot of emotion sometimes, and also conflicts. There were conflicts between two people or so, sitting in the circle and the other person in the middle. And then, of course, they call themselves also with the names. But then there is a kind of distance that they can, have more room to, or more space to really see the other person in their position. And that really helps to understand each other a lot. Yeah. So that's actually how it goes. And the two facilitators, they have a very, important role. They sit within the circle, and they are midwives to encourage and support the person to speak and express themselves, and to assist this process in a very authentic way. Yeah, and well, they also need to feel, okay, how far they can confront this person to express a bit more, or where it's better to let it flow and just to give space for the person to do their own things, and also maybe not speak, but just be there, feel, or I don't know, have non-verbal communication that happens too. So, and then they need to stop this at an appropriate moment and say, okay, good for now. And so the facilitators really play a major role in this forum process, and therefore they need a profound prior training. So I not recommend you to do this just on your own. I mean, of course, you can do circle methods or so, and of course, it's up to you and your community if you agree to this. But the people from ZEGG and the trainers, they really recommend to learn this. They have facilitator trainings for this, or the first time you can invite someone. And I know that they have done tours around the USA also, and that there are some trainers, but I haven't found any websites, I must admit. I don't know if, maybe we need to look a bit closer, or FIC or Cynthia can provide something if you're interested. But maybe we can see this later on also in the chat here from the community founders. So, and to give here a bit more impressions here. So how it is on stage and with a circle, and how this works. It's actually a very simple method, but it really needs, an awareness and a really good base of community to hold this. And I mean, my experience is also, if the group is not so experienced, and then the forum, people who go in the middle, they will share appropriate and maybe not so delicate issues. And that's absolutely fine. And the more and more the community grows together and into trust, then the more and more delicate issues can show up also in the forum process, of course. Yeah, so because ZEGG community, they live together for quite a while and they have a strong base of trust. Of course, they have also, yeah, deep, delicate issues coming up there. And I have witnessed also forums where people don't live together in a community and we just practice this as a method. And that was absolutely fine too. That was, yeah, just a bit different then. Yeah, and therefore also giving you the second case study as example here.
Iris, sorry, before we jump to this next one, there were some questions that came up related to this, and I think maybe
yeah, can you help me because
them.
I cannot see the
there's 3 questions in the chat. So Karuna asked how many acres is ZEGG, and then is there a difference between the roles of the 2 different facilitators? Those are the first 2 questions.
Yes.
And then there's another question that Nathaniel and Caitlin asked, but I'll wait to answer that one, those 2.
Yeah, very good. So how many acres? Yeah, good question. Actually, I don't really know. I just know they have not so much other space. So like the forest around it is just a little bit belonging to them. They have not so many, yeah, agricultural land or so. But as you have seen in the area, I don't know. I could try to
Looks like a lot of green.
Around it there's a lot of green, but only a part of it belongs to them. I think it's already the next farmer who owns the forest, you know.
Well, I was meaning between all their buildings. There seemed to be a lot.
Yeah,
that's gardens.
That's indeed.
Like not agriculture. Good space to walk through and sit in.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's very beautiful, and they have a lot of small buildings because it was a former education center of the Communist Party or something in East Germany, and it was also like a nice vacation area with a lot of green and with a swimming pool area and these kind of things. So it's definitely a lot of green and a very nice location there, yes. And they have also orchards and gardens to grow vegetables and so on for themselves. That's definitely, but it's not like huge eco-village in the sense of forests and agriculture, something in between. So next question, is there a difference between the roles of the different facilitators? Well, not necessarily. I mean, normally there is a person who is in charge, like the main facilitator, and the other person is more supporting, observing, and more for the subtle things. This is normally in most of the cases, yeah. But it depends on how they work together, I think. I have experienced different settings, yeah. But most of the time they sit next to each other and then they can also so kind of arrange a bit what should be done. Does everyone eventually end up being a protagonist? Yeah, just stay in the circle. Well, no, not everyone needs to go into the middle, but it really depends on where and in which group the forum is used. So in our community in Siebenlinden, we used it for our retreats, like 3 times a year for the retreats. And then it was sometimes that a lot of people wanted to go into the middle, but there was not the time for that. So there needed to be preferences made, and even beforehand it was arranged a bit like what is more important. And Yeah, so this can happen. Or, yeah, of course, in a training, then of course everyone should go in the middle and practice this. That's for sure. And sometimes, and the next community I want to introduce, they are a very small community. And if you do this with a very small circle, just 5 people or so, then maybe it really makes sense that everyone also goes in the middle, of course. Yeah. Is this doable online? Oh, good question. I have never heard it that it works online. Maybe then it's a bit a different format, like more a sharing circle. But maybe, I don't know if some groups doing it. Yeah. Imaginary online circle. Yeah, well, yeah, in a Zoom session, of course, it would be possible. Why not, actually, huh? Yeah. It's probably practice, and if the people are, I think the challenge is that everyone would really need to be present in a way. And if the group is strong enough to can do this online, why not? How long the training is? Well, what I heard, I don't know if it's just one weekend or several weekends. I'm not sure if I have adapted it, if they adapted it a little bit. Yeah, I will find out. I will send you a link for this. I think at the end of the session, I tried to find out something in English, but it was not so easy to find it. Yeah, but maybe we can ask also FIC or Cynthia if there is someone, and I guess if you can, or if we bring together a group with a certain amount of people, a trainer could be invited to give this, of course. And yeah, maybe we can ask this in the chat of the community finders, and if they say, okay, we are a group of 10 people or something, and then maybe it's worth to invite a trainer to pay this. Okay, then I go a bit further with the next community that might be also interesting to see in which context they use the forum. Because this is not a very established long-term community. This is actually, I couldn't find anything via Google about this community. It was just in a scientific thesis that I also linked to you here down there from Caleb Kalinowski from Minnesota State University. And he went there for interviewing this community for his academic master thesis. And that was really interesting to read this, but I couldn't find the community. I wonder maybe they don't exist anymore. That could be the case. However, they seem to have existed. And I found this case interesting because it's a very loose community. It's quite the opposite from ZEGG, because ZEGG, they live together, very committed, very intimate with a large group. And here we have just a small group, just 6 individuals, and they even don't live together on a permanent base, but they just come together in this place occasionally, or some live there on a fixed base, but very they have their focus on freedom, and that people can come and go and connect and then also live somewhere else again. So that's a very freedom-based community approach. And they have a lot of temporary visitors who may stay just for some days or for some years. I mean, all in between. It's very flexible. Or it was. Yeah. And they have other community-related projects also in the area. They are somewhere located in Washington, D.C. area. So, and they had a campground also and this retreat center, event center. Yeah. So that was what I read about them. And yeah, they seem to attract a particular sort of communitarian. So this is what this master thesis person wrote. Those who are wading into a transitionary phase of their lives. Yeah, so maybe they were looking for orientation, to learn something new, to experiment with relationship or getting in contact with other people. So yeah, and the approach of the 6 more permanent members, here Victor, the founder, he said, if you reach a point when you're ready to return and share new aspects of yourself with your family here, you can do whatever you like, whenever you were here for 10 days or for 10 years. So that seems quite very open approach, yeah. And also to deal with this high fluctuation of people, like always new people coming, going. Yeah, so that's really a challenge, I think. And they used, in this context, they used the ZEGG Forum for really getting on a very rapid base, a base of trust and getting to know each other. Because if someone posts themselves, so like in the ZEGG Forum, then you really get to know each other very fast, I would say. And it seemed to have worked for quite a while, and they might have even used the forum method like every day, like in the evening, to come together in this format and get to know each other more closely. Yeah, and maybe that's a very interesting approach also to use the forum. If you and your projects are in a state of being newly founded and a lot of people coming in, and it's about getting to know each other, maybe that's an interesting format and for you as well. Yeah, and it's also good in an early phase to talk about the burning issues, the hot things maybe that needs to be clarified, or what I recommend is good to clarify very much in the beginning and not wait to say, okay, these are the raw eggs, we will be carefully. But I really recommend, I mean, if you have a group and if you want to, for instance, buy a real estate, a property, whatever, together and get a financial commitment together, then really before this, I would really confront people with the really burning issues to get to know each other. And yeah, that's really recommendable. So yeah, that would be from my side so far. Unless you have more questions. Otherwise, we can then go into the breakout groups and have questions also afterwards.
I have a question. Can I say it like this because it's easier than writing?
Please,
okay.
welcome.
Thank you. You said it's good to use for a new community, so that the people can get to know each other, and if they have issues. So a new community, I mean, when we say now, when we have like an intentional community, or when we say, okay, it's a community chosen with this similar interests, isn't it, that usually we would make a community where the people have similar interests? So, and already in the beginning, I lost my thought. My thought.
Okay. Well, well, I mean, what
so
I
they can Sorry,
Yeah.
I have my thought again. So they can, in fact, really also get to see, is it really this interest or this that bounds us? Is it really the real thing? Maybe it's also good to use for this, like, you understand what I want to say? As you said, it's good for at the beginning, so they could see, like, in this way, okay, is this really the community for me?
Yeah. Well, sure. It's for both sides to getting to know each other, for the person to get to know the community. I mean, at least to get to know those people who are there already in the community, if they present themselves also in the forum, of course. Sure. I mean, it's anyway a method to get to know each other, and especially the person who goes in the middle presents themselves to the group. So that's, of course, the strongest, because if you have a large group, then some people, they might not go in the middle and they will not present themselves to the group. So it's not really evenly distributed, you know what I mean? To really, I mean, if you have a group that should to get to know each other in the first place, just like evenly, that every person says something about themselves, I would rather recommend a talking stick circle, for instance, or so. That's easier. That's for the first getting to know. But the ZEGG Forum is really more to go deeper.
Okay,
to
for issues.
bring up issues that are there.
Okay. I understand. And this stick thing, you said we had this already. Did we already talk about that? Okay, thank you.
You mean here in the case study?
Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned it last time and pre-last time.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, thank you. Then I will.
Yes, I can. I think I will next time. I will give also more an overview again about all the methods, and yeah, that you, and of course you can ask me also what I could recommend in your case, because it's really, yeah, I mean, it's good that you do ask these things, because I mean, I have gotten to know a lot of methods, many methods, you know. I'm not an expert in just one method, because many people living in the communities, they have one method and they are a trainer for this, and they're a very good trainer for this. But they have this as a bit their favorite thing, and they know this best and the others not so. And then they recommend this method for everything. And this is, I see this a bit differently. So because I have seen a lot of different community contexts and a lot of different methods, and I have a bit more the overview, but I'm not a trainer, a special trainer in any of these methods in depth, you know, but I have experienced them. And as I said, I mean, the forum here is really, here, if we go back to this, so it's really there to deepen the personal relationships, actually, and to confront also if there are underlying conflicts, to give them a space, especially if there's something difficult that there's tension already there. This is the perfect method for this. Yeah.
Great.
And in the beginning, I can recommend, if there's no conflict or tension yet, but if you're just in the beginning, it can be a method to deepen the trust, and to really, if you notice that people are a bit shy, and you know that, oh, that's all, yeah, it's nice, and people just, you know, you feel there's some deepness missing, or some, well, then you can apply this also in an earlier phase, I would say. But I wouldn't do this like in the very first beginning, just as getting, if you have an entire new group, like just to getting to know all together each other. That's not necessarily the good thing. Then better the talking stick round and other methods.
Mhm. Okay.
Mhm.
Talking stick. Thank you very much. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
One more question before we go into breakouts. Ida messaged in the chat, in these communities based on exploration, communication, and truth, is there any significant movement to leaving the community?
Are you meaning like that there are a lot of people going out of the community? Like in ZEGG, if there
Yeah,
how do
that's
you
what I
mean?
meant. Like, do you find that people are not prepared to handle some of those deeper issues and choose to leave the community at all?
Good question. So I haven't seen any like scientific studies on this, but from my own observation, I would say also in Siebenlinden where we used the method. So, I mean, it's in the large communities, there is nobody is forced to take part in these forum sessions, you know. So it's more what I observed, there's always a certain percentage or even the half of the community, sometimes not necessarily in Siebenlinden, but in other communities, I know they use forum too. There are a significant amount of members. They say, no, I would never go in the circle. I don't like this. And of course, and that's absolutely okay. And this is also the reason why many communities use other methods too, because this is quite something. And to be honest, it's coming from a very theater kind of background, yeah, where people are like actors and presenting themselves, and that's not necessarily for everyone. It's not good for everyone. So, yeah. And ZEGG, of course, they have set up their community around this method. So there's actually probably no one who do not like this method. Yeah, this
Thank
person
you.
would just not join. But yeah, this is also the reason why I recommend always to have other tools as well. This is not a single tool, I would say, for a community. It's for delicate issues. It's for those people who can express themselves in front of the group and so on. But there are also, of course, other methods for conflict resolution that might more be a mediation in a smaller group or so and so on.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.